Success in farming is all about precision and efficiency, ensuring every seed, every drop of water, every nutrient and treatment counts. Terraplex Ag is helping farmers all over Iowa and the Midwest do just that. With precision ag drone technology and support from Terraplex, you'll boost your productivity and make timely and informed decisions, all while reducing your costs and increasing your profit. It's time to revolutionize your farming. Harvest the benefits with Terraplex Ag. Visit TerraplexAg.com.
Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
Chris Williams, Brend Blum. From the Northwest Bank Studios, it's Williams and Blum, presented by Mechdyne, on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.
Welcome into the Northwest Bank Studios for Williams and Blum. There's the horns. I'm Jake Brend, filling in for Chris Williams, joined by Brend Blum. How we doing, Blum?
Sun is out.
It's
Cyclones victorious on Senior Day, and the Panthers are going to the NCAA Tournament. How about that?
Man, can't believe it's been a decade.
I know. I was shocked by that too. That means we're all getting old, is what that means. It feels like it was just yesterday. Wes Washburn was doing stuff.
Paul Jesperson. The better Bohannon brother.
How about Jake still hanging there? That's actually pretty incredible.
Well, and I know he's been tied a little bit to this K-State job.
I've seen that.
And I don't know how much of that is just a courtesy. It feels like he missed the bus on jumping up to that level about a decade ago, but all it takes is one marquee win in the NCAA tournament and you're back. That'd be something.
You know, and I've thought about this. I think a guy like that. So I would say Jake, you know, the read on him would be excellent X&O guy, great strategist, good dude, but not overly personable in the recruiting game. It's not like you and I is bringing in a bunch of high-level guys, but great development guy. There is something to be said that he would be more valuable in this era than he would have been 10 years ago, because the straight-up front-end recruiting isn't as important. It's being able to assess talent in the portal, in high school, and then honestly, it's your budget that the school gives you. So I think that guy, again, I think we're going to see, if I'm ahead of the curve here, you're gonna swing more towards straight up X's and O's guys, like X and O guys like the NBA, because again, the Calipari types just aren't as important anymore. I don't need 18-year-old 5-stars that are McDonald's All-Americans, but if I could find a 3-star from Miami of Ohio that I know is going to contribute at this level at age 21 and coach them up with my budget, it's more important. So I do think there's something to that. Yes, fundraising is still important. Being able to shake hands is still important. All of those things. But as college basketball becomes more professionalized, you're going to have two avenues. You're going to have your GM, which is the player acquisition side, which is important. But then I think a lot of your coaches are going to be straight up, how do I scheme my best players? Like X's and O's. And those schools with the big budgets, the recruiting thing isn't going to be as important because I've got the money and the money talks. So just something to keep an eye on for somebody like Jake, who I think has been held back because he may not have the reputation of being one that's going to go into 17-year-old living rooms and get a 5-star. Yeah. And I think that paradigm has shifted in the last couple of years.
Well, my apologies to the UNI fans listening to Williams and Bloom. Coach Jacobson is not leaving. Congrats to all the good UNI fans in the state, and they're going through the tournament. Just an interesting hypothetical.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the other interesting part as it relates to UNI, and something I did want to bring up, because this is probably my favorite part about championship week, but I'm a nerd. You all know this, is this year in particular, because of the budget constraints for a lot of these schools and also the NCAA. Reminder, the NCAA is now having to back pay to former athletes in NIL as well. A lot of people don't realize that. And so there's a significant budget strain on the NCAA. And how about this, Jake Brend? I was talking to somebody pretty connected. There's a lack of charter flights in the U.S. right now.
Oh.
And yeah, 100%. So
Taylor Swift? Is it her fault?
I don't know who's got the charter flights. Blame Taylor. So the point is, a lot of the NCAA controls scheduling for the tournament, and most of these schools will charter flight from their home site to wherever the tournament is. Yes. Well, this year there aren't as many charter flights, and there's budget constraints. It's really expensive to charter a flight, like for real. So therefore, the NCAA is going to try and get as many schools as possible within driving distance, and that includes not only the Iowa States of the world with the high seeds, which they've always tried to protect, but they will try and get the lower seeds closer to their sites as well. So I think it's very realistic. UNI, similar to Iowa State, they'll try and get them nearby, meaning St. Louis or Oklahoma City. And you might ask, well, Brent, they just played in St. Louis, and the Missouri Valley Conference is the host for the NCAA tournament. Yes, but that doesn't matter anymore. Member schools can play at member host sites, and conference tournaments are disregarded in regards to amount of games played in one site. There is a 4 games or more rule, and you're disallowed from playing at a site in that manner, but conference tournaments are not included in that. Therefore, UNI is absolutely allowed to play in St. Louis. And in a strange world, now I think UNI are probably, Jake, a 12 or 13 seed? Would be my guess.
Yeah, I was thinking 13, 14 in that range.
So let's say Iowa State's a 3, though, all right? That's a 3-14 game, and there's a realistic chance Iowa State could play UNI. Now, I'm not predicting it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of stuff to happen. And then ultimately, if Iowa State's the 2 seed, yes, the committee could move UNI down to a 15 for location. I have a hard time believing that, but I'm just saying keep an eye on it. And I would also then keep an eye on Iowa. Absolutely, because Iowa's probably going to be in that 7, 8, 9, 10 range. Maybe up to 11, and therefore could be on that other side of Iowa State. So they try and avoid rematches, but they realize they're trying to avoid rematches more from conference teams, less from non-conference matchups.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there is a world where Iowa State, UNI are all on the same site, for real. So just keep an eye on it, something to think about. And I still do think Iowa State does end up in St. Louis or Oklahoma City, one of the two, for what it's worth.
Man, that'd certainly be something. And we've seen the committee kind of screw with Iowa State storyline-wise already with Drake a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And TJ going up against his old team in Hendo. So
and that's why I literally don't think it was storyline, Jake. What you saw even 2 years ago was location-based.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, there's storylines that come out of it. And yes, there's probably somebody who gets a chuckle in that room and they say, well,
oh, yeah.
Iowa State and Iowa don't want to play UNI, so let's make them play 100%. But I'm telling you guys, like that is a very realistic scenario, and I think UNI will be around the Midwest in some capacity as well.
Well, we've got a lot to get to today on Williams and Bloom. Aside from all the NCAA tournament seeding conversations, it's all brought to you by Mechdyne, enabling discovery up in Marshalltown. I know there's a lot of people in that building next week that will be very, very, very locked into Selection Sunday, very locked into the Big 12 tournament and everything Cyclones. If you're looking for a new job, give Mechdyne a look. See what they've got for you.
I was texting with the president and CEO, Chris Clover, this morning, and we're trying to get together for a beverage, and we decided we'll just meet in Indianapolis for the Final Four. That was kind of the consensus.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. We've got some men's basketball to talk about, Big 12 tournament, to preview a little bit. I know we'll have another Williams and Blum before Iowa State plays. I would imagine we'll talk women's basketball, a little wrestling. Jamie Pollard met with President Trump. A lot of stuff going on. So let's just get right into Iowa State beating Arizona State. Exactly what the doctor ordered in the second half. Got back to playing their brand of basketball, 17 points off of 13 Arizona State turnovers. Not much more you could ask for in that second half, even if there were still a lot of concerns that arose in that first half.
Definitely. Tale of two halves for sure, and obviously we'll talk about Tamin, but it was nice just to show Iowa State still has the capability of speeding somebody up and making somebody miserable. I don't remember a team collectively more miserable in one half than what Arizona State was in the second half in Hilton. Nobody wanted to be there. Hurley, my gosh, that guy made Fran McCaffrey look like John Wooden yesterday. Like, come on, man. Like, get it together. That is a complete distraction for his team. At one point, I don't know if you saw this, because I was up in one of the gold sections. By the way, good job by everybody doing the striping.
Yeah, I think it's time for Williams to kill this narrative that Cyclone fans can't color coordinate.
Agreed.
It's been pretty good for a few years.
Yeah, the last couple of years, football, basketball has been awesome. Good work, everybody. So hey, we can listen to the directions. That's great. And anyway, the second half, Hurley gets into it with Pig Johnson on the bench to the point where Pig left the huddle and went and sat down by himself for a while. And then one of the coaches had to go console him as if he was my 6-year-old who I just took his iPad away. And they put him back in the game. Like, that guy was trying to get ejected, and I think even the officials were like, Bobby, we know what you're going to do. We're not going to let you leave. You have to stay and watch this as well. But I think, Iowa State played so much better in the second half, defensively turned it up. I thought the crowd was great. Jamar and Bateman energy level in the first half for sure was awesome, had some great minutes. And then I thought this play by Torrey was really important, kind of set the tone the second half and was good for Killian as well. Yeah, I mean, when you get to the tournament, you're not going to be at Hilton Coliseum. I understand that. But it was nice. I think a feel good for everybody to see the ball go in the basket a little bit. And what I saw strategically, Jake, that I was super encouraged by in that second half, two things. Number one, Bateman played a lot. And if you look at the last 5 to 6 games, he has played considerably more minutes than Torrey. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can argue about who should be starting, who should not be starting. At the end of the day, who's going to play more minutes is what I'm concerned about. And clearly, Bateman is getting more of Torrey's minutes, one way or another. But there was a time in there where the Iowa State kind of went smallish with Joshua at the 5. And I liked that look. It was different. The defense was still really good. And what Iowa State did was really line up, and here's a good example there of Momcilovic and Jefferson on one side of the floor. And even they played a little two-man game and then cleared out the other side. I think that's a way against the uber-talented teams that Iowa State can still get buckets. And yes, we know Iowa State's got to turn teams over, but you're going to get in the half court, and how do you manufacture offense? And I really liked how Iowa State spaced the floor with Bateman on the other end. That's another great example right there if you're watching on YouTube. Inside out, Jefferson and Momcilovic. If you have Bateman in that other corner, you can't collapse everything. And it really opened up the floor in the second half. And I thought Iowa State's offense looked really, really good. So that was encouraging for me. Play was encouraging. And in my opinion, would love your take as well. I think it was just nice for Iowa State before you go to Kansas City to know, okay, we do have a couple, options B and C. And I think you're starting to see Iowa State play a lot more with, and I bet you see a lot in Kansas City too, Jake, a lot more of Jefferson, Momcilovic, Bateman all on the floor at the same time. And I think that might be the recipe going forward.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Tamin Lipsey, you're better when he's on the floor.
Oh, yeah, that's a good.
It's Tamin and in those three right now. Heise, throw him in there as well.
Yeah,
as someone
he's the glue guy
to mix in.
Yep.
With either Buchanan or Plata down at the 5. So I completely agree. It's really hard to keep Jamar and Bateman off the floor right now. He's doing, it seems like everything right, from defense to the confidence, to being able to get downhill a couple times.
Yes.
Be physical. He's a guy that on senior day kind of stole the show as a freshman, and he's a player that you certainly hope can have a senior day at Hilton Coliseum, a few years down the road because he's looking to be a pretty special player.
And I think he gives the older guys a little bit of a jump when he's in there. Like I thought the energy definitely shifted when he came in the game. And again, this is not a shot at Torre. He's just going through it right now, and it's pretty clear to anybody who was at Hilton Coliseum, he's not shooting, he's kind of aiming, and that's just not a good recipe. And I don't think it's something that he's just going to kick out of. He's still super valuable. I still want him shooting the ball when he's open. There were times that in the second half where he just wasn't even looking at the basket, and I think at that point, if you go watch the second half, Iowa State ran a couple plays early. Torre had it out front with nobody around him, and he just handed the ball off. And TJ went right to Bateman. It's like you can't. I don't blame Killian. It's not like he's a negative here because he still does a lot of great things. But if Iowa State's going to achieve its high ceiling, that floor needs spaced with either Bateman or Torre. And I think Bateman has earned those minutes, and he's going to continue to get them, because it just helps everything flow a little bit better. And then what Bateman's really done too is he's handling the ball great too. There's even times where he was in the press break, so that's a positive. And yeah, I mean, this Bateman's ascension is going to be the story of Iowa State's march. If Iowa State makes a deep run, that guy is going to be a huge part of it. There's no question. And you need those other players to be good as well. But I think Bateman's energy level at this time of year is something that can really take and just give you an influx of energy. And that's what I saw in the second half, is Iowa State looked refreshed, which was super
that's
encouraging.
A good way of putting it.
Super encouraging going into Kansas City, because there was a time in the first half I'm like, I wasn't alone. Listen, I saw your Twitter's comments, everybody, where I saw some comments, at me. It's like, is this team broken? Are they dead? Are they tired? Like, what's going on? That second half was uber valuable, I think, to get everybody just an injection of confidence and life going into KC.
No doubt. We're talking about real estate. I think I'm selling my condo on Bateman Island, and I'm gonna buy a house. I'm gonna stop renting a 2-bedroom apartment. I'm going 4-bed, 4-bath, downstairs bar, garage,
walk out.
That's how I am on Kelderman Island, and not Kelderman. You could do it all with Andrew Chaplin, with Hunziker Realty.
That's a great read right there. It's a great read. Did I lose you again?
I didn't even plan it. It just came to my mind. I actually met Chappie last week for the first time at the Iowa Everywhere party, so it was great to meet Chappie. I'll have to grab a beer with him here soon.
What a great dude. I was texting with him this morning. Yeah, just an awesome guy. We actually have I can say this, it sounds weird now. We have a mutual client that is going to buy a home in Ames out of town. He actually lives in a different state, and Chappie's hopefully going to sell the house, and hopefully I can insure it. So we're tag team partners now, big boy.
No, that's good stuff. So I mentioned Kelderman because I knew I also wanted to give a shout out to Jeff Kelderman, who will surprisingly not be at the Big 12 tournament. He has a massive truck convention out in California. I actually spent an entire day with Kelderman in Tucson, actually in Phoenix. So I was staying with one of my lifelong friends in Phoenix, and obviously Williams and Cooper, they flew back from Tucson on Tuesday morning. And so I was just going to rent a car, drive up to Phoenix. I was actually going to drive down to Tombstone because I had a day to kill.
Of course. But
then we were down there. Kelderman was with his son, who goes to Grand Canyon, and they were staying in a hotel the night of the game. So I'm just like, hey, Kelderman, can I hop in with you? So I hopped in with him and his son on the way back to Phoenix. His son had to go to class, so Kelderman and I went and caught a baseball game. Spent a lot of good time.
That's awesome.
He's the coolest dude in the world. If you're in that world,
most interesting man in Iowa. What a guy. And by the way, if I'm in that world, I want my guy going to a truck convention.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
he was telling me all about this. It's like you pretty much bring all of your coolest stuff to just show, hey, here's what I can do. And he was showing me these motorcycles that he's been working on for years. Have you watched Landman Bloom?
Yes.
He reminds me of Billy Bob Thornton in that show. because we were driving back. It was about 2 hours from Tucson to Phoenix, and he had to have gotten 6 different phone calls. And one of them was a literal fire. It's like, yeah, this controlled burn went a little too long, and he feels like he's truly the center of the universe in Iowa. The amount of phone calls he gets. Here's Kelderman and I at the Chicago Cubs game.
You guys got good seats there too. Jeez.
Yeah, it was like $15 for third row behind home plate.
Anyway. I love the Billy Bob Kelderman comp. That is amazing.
Anyway, Kelderman Manufacturing.
Just avoid the cartels.
Great Cyclone.
Avoid the cartels, Kelderman.
Yeah, please. So, Tamin Lipsey. That is so loud. My apologies to those listening. He is one-of-a-kind Cyclone, and maybe not his prettiest game as a Cyclone, but he ends up with 6 steals. Our buddy Steve Kemp counted Tamin plays while rewatching it. He counted 18. I went back and went in my lens. I found about 12 of them. So here are some of the Tamin plays if you're watching on YouTube. Just an all-time Cyclone. He was so emotional the entire day, and he should be. He got the reception that he deserved.
Yeah, that was so cool. I thought TJ did a nice job there at the end of subbing those guys out, one by one to get the ovation. That had to be hard. I mean, Tamin's a very level guy, but you could tell he was that was super emotional for Tamin, and that's why that first half I'm like, man, he's got to win this game. I know you're down 4, he's got to win this game, and then he really that 24-0 run was all Tamin, because that's why Tamin is this era of Iowa State basketball. His off times it's not pretty, but there's nobody going to outwork you, and I'm going to do every little thing possible to win. That guy is the definition of a winner. And he is so respected by everybody. I mean, just think of all the plays he's made in his career that it's like nobody else would have done that. Like literally nobody else would have done that. And yet he does it. And he's the one with the most banged up body there is. And yet he's the one who's given all out effort. And the crazy thing, I keep coming back to it, he does the same thing in practice. Like, this isn't just for the
Why?
I know. I was at summer practice. I was like, don't stop it. Like, knock it off. But that's who the guy is. And you start talking about all-time Cyclones. Whew. And it's not a conversation we need to have today because there's a long season ahead, hopefully a long March ahead. But his story is as special as it gets for somebody who grew up here, parents work at Iowa State, all of the connections, the fact that he was TJ's first call after TJ got the job. When you start talking about the TJ Otzelberger era, and hopefully it turns into like a Tom Izzo type era at Iowa State, it starts with Tamin Lipsey. Like those two go hand in hand in so many ways, and I can't say enough about Tamin. I've got to know him obviously for other reasons, and guy never says anything negative. Like he's a positive guy. I got to tell a funny story. I mean, this is how much everyone just relies on Tamin. So his freshman year, the collective helped out some of the guys with some apartment living. And I was talking to the basketball, so I was like, hey, we need a contact person to make sure if something goes wrong with these apartments, that there's somebody on site. And no question, the coach said, like, he was just a freshman. It's like, no, Tamin's the most responsible. Let him work with it. And it was like, yep, he certainly was.
Not shocking.
Yeah, so he was my point person. So anytime there was an issue for maintenance or something, it was working with Tamin, and just an unbelievable guy. That guy, anything I asked of him, he would do. It didn't matter for his money, as a favor. He has sent so many text messages, video calls to folks that were going through something just because it was the right thing to do. Obviously, it was they had a nice documentary put out. Iowa State basketball did yesterday. Encourage you to watch of his work with YSS locally. I mean, I just can't say enough about the guy. I mean, in all of the negative of college sports right now, and we'll probably get into some of it here later, he's everything that's right. He's everything that's right with it, and that doesn't get celebrated enough. So I'm effusive in my appreciation and love of Tamin and his entire family. Like it's a group operation there, and I hope that guy has the best March ever, because he's right there with an all-timer at Iowa State. Doesn't matter what sport.
It's funny you say that, the amount of time that he'll take out of his day for others. I was walking back out to the court yesterday after the post-game press conference because I was going to shoot my stand-up, and him and his wife Samantha were talking to this older gentleman for a solid 5 minutes, and he was telling them about back in the Hoiberg days as a player and how many games he's been to, and Tamin's so engaged in the conversation. He truly is. I think the Mr. Cyclone term,
That's perfect.
It just got thrown around. I don't even know if anyone was trying to make it a thing, but he is. He's a Cyclone through and through, and you look from, not only did he take a chance on Iowa State when the program was at its lowest, TJ said that he pretty much took a chance on Iowa State when it was nothing but a PowerPoint. It was, this is what we want to be. We don't know if this is what we're going to be, but this is what we're going to try and do. And Tamin committed before Otzelberger had a practice, before Otzelberger won a game, before Otzelberger got fans back in the stands. And that's why he'll be a Cyclone, forever.
To see what he's accomplished and how he's transcended a program, there's probably never been a better fit for a student athlete in a program than what Tamin Lipsey has been a fit for Iowa State. And also I say that our program has become Tamin in so many ways. And it's a credit to him for the man that he is, the competitor he is, the student, the character person. It's credit to his family. It was so cool to see his whole family there, because what he's done every single day for 4 years has impacted our program, not just for the 4 years he's been here, but it will impact us in a very positive manner for many years moving forward.
Yep. Well, so that's it. He is Cyclone basketball, and he grew up with it, he became it, and he made it better. I didn't think about that.
No doubt.
Not to get cheesy, but I'm a big believer in leave something better than you found it. My gosh, if they're, we talk about the jersey retirement situation or whatever number. I don't even know what's what. That guy's a no-brainer. It's not even close. And he is what Iowa State is about. Period. End of story. And I hope for his case, Iowa State has a monster March. And I know Tamin got the spotlight. I was glad that Joshua played well. Nate did a lot of Nate things as well. That's the thing about Tamin is he gets uncomfortable when he's the center of attention. And he understands it. He's the Ames guy, all those things. But he knows this program would not be where it is, without Nate, Joshua, and the rest of those guys as well. So I think that's what Tamin's going to be successful whatever he does, because he defers credit right away, and his actions tell the story, not his words. And I think there's something powerful there.
I'm glad you brought up Jefferson, because he's gotten a lot of criticism the last few weeks, and some of it's warranted. The finishing around the rim stuff. He's got to be better at that, and he's got to be tougher down there. But I do think a lot of Jefferson's struggles are a byproduct of the team. Typically when the team is struggling, it's not because of Jefferson. Typically, if Jefferson's struggling, it's because of the team. And
well said.
The spacing is not there, and he feels the need to do too much, and he tries and do too much, and he dribbles between three guys and maybe blows a layup, or not an easy layup, but tries to finish maybe when he shouldn't. And I think yesterday is an example of Tamin hits a three early. Momcilovic comes out and hits a three. Bateman hits a three. How wide open the floor is, and how much easier life is for Jefferson down low. Buchanan gets a couple. He makes a nice dunk early on.
By the way, I thought Blake in that first half, that was the aggressiveness you needed. He put it on the floor and went to if they're not going to guard you, put it on the floor and go to the rim. And I thought he missed a couple of those. That's okay. I want him to go in.
Yeah.
But I thought that was super encouraging. And then also in that same note, Plata's ability yesterday to put it on, and I thought he rebounded a lot better. again, I understand the last 3 weeks of Iowa State basketball have not been perfect. It's been not even great. It's above average, I would say, relatively for what would you expect from Iowa State. But there are pieces of this team that are getting better. I mean, I think that's easy to lose in this. This team is getting better at certain spots. Now, you need the Jeffersons, the Heises, Tamin to be that, to knock down some more shots. I totally understand that. But Buchanan, if Iowa State can figure out how to get Buchanan put on the floor, played it to give the minutes heated. I mean, he was in double figures yesterday. Bateman to continue his ascension. There's a lot of little pieces that are actually could portend good things for this group. And you're right about Jefferson. He kind of gets the grenade at the end of the shot clock a lot of times, and and he gets criticism for it. But Jake, I'm looking at the Ken Pom Player of the Year standings. By the way, the regular season is over now. It's Cameron Boozer 1, Joshua Jefferson 2. Like, he's still second in the Ken Pom Player of the Year rankings, and that is all data numbers. Now, yes, he did build a lot of those numbers up in non-conference games against maybe not the top end of the Big 12. I get that, and he struggled-ish against the elite teams, and I understand that too. But you can't dispute. I mean, you got to go back years, if maybe not ever. I mean, Ken Pom only goes back to 11. I don't think Iowa State's ever had a player finish in the top 3 of the Ken Pom rankings, and yet sometimes Joshua seems like he takes it from the fan base just because he's an easy target, because he does have the ball a lot. He occasionally has turned it over. He does need to finish better, but he also does so many things that just add up in the box score and add up to your efficiency, and you don't just luck into being second in the nation in data-based, by the way, Player of the Year rankings, unless you're very, very effective. And he's going to need to be good. We know that. But I was glad for Josh because I thought he played a fairly complete game yesterday and didn't try to overdo it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that criticism might even stem from his persona. And he is very much if he shows emotion, it's rare. And it means something when he shows emotion. He's very, very stoic.
He's a cerebral
serious
guy. Yeah.
And I get it. That can sometimes come off as, I don't care, I'm lazy, which is, it's not true whatsoever. He honestly, I'll play this clip.
Yeah.
I think he showed in a very Jefferson way, I mean, how much he cares not only about the sport, this team, and being at Iowa State.
That was the best decision of my life. I have dreams after this, and I knew that Iowa State was going to give me the best shot, put me in the best position to do that. So coming back was very vital to my future, and coming here in the first place was amazing. I wanted to come as a freshman, but when TJ came over from UNLV, but it was just a lot of people in my spot, but happy that I was able to come after.
It means a lot to hear him say that those are the best decisions he's ever made. I would agree with him. They're the best decisions he's ever made for us too, right? And so I'm glad he feels that way, and it's really special because he means a lot to me. What he's done for this program means a lot to all of us, and I'm really excited for him to continue to elevate himself the rest of the way this season because he's such a bright young man with such a big future ahead, and excited for that future, especially over these next few weeks in the postseason, what that looks like and the position he's put our team in, the position he's put himself in. Really cool when you think of those Zoom calls we were having back when we weren't able to make in-person recruiting contacts. We're going back, 6-7 years. Pretty special to see what he's doing right now.
A lot of good stuff there from Jefferson and
that's the thing with Joshua is he's not George Niang, or he's not gonna be barking all over the place and doing all this things. He's not Tyrese Halliburton, but Tim Duncan got policed because he didn't have any body language too. And I'm not saying Joshua Jefferson's Tim Duncan. Some people just operate differently. Doesn't mean he cares. That guy cares. Listen, I've been in the gym and he's in there all the time. Like, the guy is constantly working. He's going to be successful at the next level. I have no doubt about it. He's a first-class dude, and I was glad for him that he got that final reception on senior day. Because I get kind of defensive on him in particular because I know how valuable he is. I know how good he is, and he's such a good dude as well. And I understand fans, he can be an easy target, especially when he has a game like he did against Arizona. But Iowa State is not going to reach its upside unless that guy does it. And I'll be honest, his decision in April led to this year. It did.
Yes.
Because it was close. Like, that's not, and that wasn't his fault. Like, everyone always brings up him in the portal world. It wasn't just him, though. Like, if he would have left, Jake, I'm going to tell you this. If he would have left, I bet a couple of those other monster parts of this team don't stick around either. So, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's how close it can get. And Joshua's decision to, by the way, leave significant dollars on the table, not that he needs that out there, but he left significant dollars on the table to come back to Iowa State, led to this year. And I will forever be grateful for that guy for so many reasons. He's a special young man. I hope for the best for him, and can't wait to see how he progresses in March. And I really believe if you get him and Momcilovic in that little 1-2 game with Lipsey doing what he does and Bateman in the corner, again, I'm an optimistic guy. I understand that, but I think this will be fun. It'll be a fun ride, and it's going to be matchup driven in a lot of ways. I watched Duke yesterday; they're really good. Arizona's really good. Everybody knows this, but Jefferson's going to be, again. He's going to be the biggest factor, I think, for Iowa State's success. He has to play really good against those elite teams.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Jefferson he's going to go down as one of the all-time 2-year Cyclones.
I mean, you think about where he came from as a transfer win and to what he became, it's crazy. Like, I mean, I don't need to give all the numbers, but at the time, Deshaun Jackson was considered a more valuable piece when he transferred than Joshua Jefferson. So just think about that.
Yeah.
And what he's done and what he continues to do. Arguably, he's up there with DeAndre Kane as one of the best transfers Iowa State's ever had. You know, Deontay Burton. I mean, he's
Royce White.
he's Royce White for sure. I mean, I think because Joshua was a 2-year guy. I mean, you could argue he's above those guys with
Hans
his contribution.
Brace up there.
Hallis Cook. Start naming transfers. That's a fun game. No, but so appreciate Joshua
what
very
could have
much.
been with Hallis Cook?
Gonna need him to be good in March.
Well, if you're going down to Kansas City, we received a text from Circa Sports.
Yes.
That they're running the Win Derek's Wallet promo that was run in Iowa a couple months back in Missouri right now. So if you're an Iowa State fan traveling down or to or up to Missouri, you can bet, and there is, quote, money to be made at the Big 12 tourney. Shares are trending to be around $500. So when you cross state lines, when you get down to Kansas City, be sure to download the Circa Sports app. They truly have the best lines. We don't just say it. And now their app is better, too. They've completely improved the interface. It's the best place to bet.
Well, and this is new in Missouri, so I think they
as of December.
Yeah, so this different because again, I think those of you who entertain this entertainment option, obviously probably knew when you've been down in the Big 12 before, not allowed, but now it is, and because of that they are literally giving away money to people who wager down there. It's with these. I mean, not to get into all the nuts and bolts here, but all these companies are competing for essentially marketplace. And so they have incentives. Well, Circa is literally giving away money if you wager with their app down in Missouri while you're down there. So keep that in mind, and again, you're gonna get the best value possible there.
No doubt, and of course, if you're in Iowa, check out Circa Sports.
Yeah, they're here in Iowa too. Not that they don't have value here too. I mean, it's the value is still great. It's just they are literally giving away free money if you use their app.
As always, shout out the Ivy College of Business. Is supply chain management a part of the Ivy College of Business?
Yes, it is.
Well,
yes,
shout out Nate Heise. Nate and I had a good conversation yesterday pregame on his plans after college, and he's a supply chain management major, so he's going to be well taken care of. Whether he gets a job here in Des Moines, goes back up to Minnesota, there's a lot of jobs coming for him graduating from the Ivy College of Business.
I'll be curious if he'll have options to play for sure. Like that guy is way more valuable to basketball people than maybe your everyday fan, just because the stuff he does isn't noticed necessarily in the box score. This is funny though. So Nate called me this summer. He was looking for an internship. He's like, Bloom, you got any connections in the supply chain world? I was like, I got a couple. So made some contact for him. Had a great internship with a fellow Cyclone, and again with that Ivy. I think he got his master's maybe even too.
Yep.
He's gonna be well set. Well, a neat young man. Again, appreciate Nate very much, and just he's gonna be a rock star whatever he does. Like if I'm in the supply chain world, I'm giving that guy a management position tomorrow. I think that highly of that guy.
Oh, well, I couldn't agree more. Nate Heise is the man.
He knocked his internship out of the park, by the way, for what it's worth. I'm not taking credit for it, but, if he gets hired by that company, I will take credit for that.
Well, there you have it. Go to the Ivy College business, and
yes,
you'll be the next Nate Heise. You'll be catching corner threes against Houston.
Well, I learned a phrase from young people this week: a no-dip three.
Yeah, no dip. You don't bring it down.
You don't bring it down.
Do you know who's the best no-dip three in the world? You'll know it exactly when I say it. You'll be able to picture
Klay Thompson?
No.
Okay.
He's certainly up there.
Yeah.
Nick Batum.
Oh, Nick Batum is guy's just flip.
You're lucky if he even
holds it.
Has it for a second.
Yep.
But anyways, yeah. Heise's got a good no-dip three.
He does got a no-dip. So I learned a phrase this week, so I'm 41 going on 14.
I thought, nah. There's no way you're 41, Bloom.
That's what the numbers say. I agree.
Mid-30s. You still got pickup left in you. Well, let's dive into the Big 12 for just a second, and it's all brought to you by Wiffles Hybrids.
Every year, you have a choice. One that says staying independent and family-owned means something on your farm. So plant your independence. Plant Wiffles.
The Big 12 tournament is all set. Iowa State will be playing the winner of Arizona State and Baylor on Wednesday at 11:30. A couple early mornings. Well, hopefully a couple early mornings. It's not the easiest 12-13 matchup imaginable, considering like Arizona State, I think they're kind of good. They're sneaky good. I just don't think they're well coached. They've got some dudes. They've got some athletes. It's a team that Iowa State shouldn't have problems with, especially in Kansas City on that glass floor. And same goes for Baylor. They're kind of in the same boat.
Yeah, very, very. I'd say high-end talent, questionable execution for both. But the type that if they get on a heater, there could be an issue. I mean, yeah, obviously Iowa State, Jake, if again you look at the numbers, will be favored likely by double figures.
Yeah.
In against either of those schools. But you never know. I don't know. I with Yesufu and Carr with Baylor, I think those guys could get on a heater and make a bunch of threes. I didn't necessarily too fearful of Arizona State's 3-point shooters, Jake.
Yeah.
Now I know they shoot it okay. I mean, what are their 3-point percentage? They're 170th in the country. Those are the teams that would bother me in that opening round. I mean, the big fella is really good. He's getting better job. Like, that guy's going to play in the NBA. Now, his little scuffle with Buchanan was hilarious because Blake looked at him like a big brother looking at a little brother. Like, what are you trying to do here,
He
pal?
got him hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah, he did. He played right into it, which is great. Give him the old okey doke. But I think if I had my druthers, I think I'd rather see Arizona State because
I'm with you.
I don't think they give Iowa State as many problems as Yesufu and Carr could give Iowa State, and Baylor's so spacey that I don't necessarily want to see them. The good news is for Iowa State fans, though twofold here. So Tech, with its loss to BYU, ends up as the 4 seed, right? If you can you zoom in a little bit on that? I just make sure I got my times right here.
Yeah, you got it right. I don't know if I can zoom in.
Anyway. So Tech's
I'm no Aiden Wyatt.
No, you're good. Yeah, none of us are. So Tech's the 4 there, which I'm okay with because again, Iowa State owes them one for what they did to Iowa State Hilton.
I like that spot if they can get there.
And, from a pure selfish ticket standpoint, Tech travels fine, but there's not going to be Iowa State, Kansas at 11:30 on a Thursday either. So it's going to be probably a more palatable ticket for people. And I think Iowa State would be favored in that game as well. So, all things considered, about what I expected entering yesterday, and I think Iowa State will certainly be favored to win one. I think they'll be favored by 3-5 against Texas Tech, should it be that game, and then it's Arizona, and who knows? But at that point, the overwhelming majority of the fans will be Iowa State fans, and so it'd be fun to see Arizona on a neutral site in Kansas City on a Friday evening. Oh boy, would that be electric!
And you wonder, after their close win against Colorado last night in Boulder, you can only fake so much desperation.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
They want to win I have no doubt that Tommy Lloyd and his squad want to go out there and win a Big 12 championship, and you'd be a fool to think otherwise. But they had nothing to play for last night, and they got themselves in a dogfight with Colorado against a desperate Colorado team who has nothing to play for outside of pride. You do wonder how many of those intangibles come to play if Arizona steps into the T-Mobile Center against Iowa State. Again, a lot has to happen before that.
Yeah.
They step into a place that's, depending on if KU can handle TCU, 60% Iowa State fans, 50% Iowa State fans. You wonder how that comes into play.
Absolutely. I think all things considered, if you're going to be in that 4-5, it is what it is. If you would have told me Thursday night this was going to be the draw, I said, I'll take it. I will take it.
Yeah,
because I just think it, and honestly, for this team, playing Arizona again is a great thing. This team needs to play Arizona again and fight and compete a lot better than it did on Monday. Because I think that alone, even if you don't win, Jake, even if it's a single-digit game or a 5-point game, whatever, and it goes down to the wire, that will help this team and those young guys that are getting better more than some slappy game against nobody. So I actually like that you're going to play a really good Arizona team, potentially. And I think Iowa State can win that game for the reasons you just said. Arizona's a 1 seed, hook, line, and sinker. They are going to be where they are. They're not getting above. At that point, Duke's probably the overall number 1. Michigan, Arizona, they're all kind of there. It doesn't really matter that much, quite honestly. They're going to be in the West anyway. So I wonder their motivation there. Iowa State's going to have a lot of motivation to prove that it is what it was prior to February 1. And Iowa State's going to have a lot of motivation to win that game. And then the other alternative then is if Iowa State wins that game, you lock in, no question, a 2 seed.
Oh, yeah.
It's done. In fact, I think if Iowa State beats Tech, it's probably a 2 as well. I think so. But again, you got to keep an eye on Michigan State, some of these other teams and what they're doing, Nebraska even. But most likely, if Iowa State is able to play Arizona, you're probably going to be a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. And that's obviously a big factor here too.
Yeah, we'll discuss more of it as we get closer to the tournament. And I think we'll do a normal Williams and Bloom Wednesday.
Trying to figure out
11:30 game.
I'm trying to sort through. I love my kids. They make Big 12 week a little more complicated, especially when they have school.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that being the case.
I'm hoping to get there. I was not planning on going until Wednesday night. Well, things changed with that loss to Tech, and so I'm scrambling a little bit, but we're gonna figure it out. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Okay, before we get into the women's basketball and wrestling conversation, I want to give a shout out to our friend Nick at Newport Electrical Services up in Ames. Actually has gotten to work with Chappie. It's great to see some of our sponsors work together. It's a local family-run business with experience in residential, commercial, agricultural, every type of industrial and electrical work you could possibly imagine. And he's bringing us our Wired In segment each week on Williams and Bloom. If you want to give him a call for any electrical needs, 515-460-0103. That is Newport Electrical Services. And for Wired In, this is kind of our time to be nerds and dive into the business of college athletics. And nobody does that better than you and Chris Williams. I'll just hand it off to you as far as the Jamie Pollard at the White House saga, and I'll kind of bounce my thoughts off of you.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I mean, I'm glad I'm removing. I'm always have to say this: removing politics from it, because obviously that anytime the president involved, politics are literally involved. That is what politics is. But I am glad that conversation is happening. Okay, blanket statement. I am glad for Iowa State's sake that Jamie was in the room to share what Iowa State and those of its ilk are going through. That is only a positive, regardless of your opinions on any of this stuff. To have a voice in the room is the only way problems get solved. And I'm glad Iowa State's interests were in the room with Jamie. As far as the actual next steps out of that and action items, as they say in the business world, the president came out saying that he's going to do an executive order, which he said, well, I know we'll get sued, and he's right. So it won't do anything in the short term other than bring it to light.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what Friday was all about. Like, nothing's going to get solved by that next week or next month. What it does, though, is it highlights there's some very influential people, literally, that want to figure this out. And that is a first step to solving the problem. Now, there are still major deltas between what the Big Ten, the SEC want, and what everybody else wants. And it is going to be really hard to solve. And somebody's really going to have to bite on their pride. And I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm glad the conversation is going on, though. And I'm glad Jamie was there to at least represent Iowa State. And, I think it's as simple as that. Like, I don't think it needs to be that much more dramatic. I know everybody wants to insert their opinions one way or another. At the end of the day, I am all about, and I've shared on this podcast, get as multiple voices in the room. I was disappointed there were no actual athletes in the room.
Yeah.
What are we doing a little bit there? But at the very least, the conversation is happening and will continue to happen. And Jamie put out the video yesterday, and we have not been shy on this podcast to share it. Something needs to change. If it continues on this trajectory, whatever this trajectory is, it is not going to be good for the majority of people in college athletics. It'll be good for some, and those some are the ones with all the power, or they work at Fox or ESPN. But it's got to change. You need literally people of that influence that were in that room to be the ones to initiate the change. So I'm glad that is happening. We got a long way to go, though. Long way to go.
Yeah, I agree. At the heart of it, it's just getting people in the same room and actually talking about it, and people showing that, hey, we want to change. Can it change? That's the struggle. That's the whole other problem that we don't have the answers to. I hope someone has the answer to them at some point.
And the issue is, again, this is not a political podcast. I never want it to be. You need everybody on the same page, or at least majority of people on the same page. And this is the one thing with the president, good or bad, when he is in the middle of it, you're instantly going to get the people saying, well, let's not do that, or let's do that. It's one or the other, which ultimately doesn't necessarily lead to compromise very easily. So from that point, we'll see. But it's just not going to get solved overnight. It does need to get solved, though, because I heard some stuff this week, Jake, as it relates to the basketball portal. Still a mess, still a complete mess. And it really makes this whole industry difficult. And you got coaches, they should be preparing for the postseason, and you're literally, it's nuts. Like, they're worried about fundraising, they're worried about finding corporate sponsors. I don't know if you saw this, which I don't blame them. I'm like, good for Arkansas. Arkansas signed, I think it was a $50 million deal with Tyson this week, Tyson Foods. 90% of that money is going towards over-the-top NIL, okay? So, one, I don't think that should be legal, but apparently because it's a corporation, they can get by with it. So, what's going to turn into, I'm 100% serious, the arms race in athletics, and this is why you need political intervention, although it's probably not going to happen in the short term. College athletics is going to turn into how good is your corporate sales team? Think about that. We have shifted because now if I can recruit a Fortune 100 company to give me NIL that's quote unquote legitimate, well, I can use that over the top. That increases my salary cap. That's what Arkansas is doing. So now you're asking your coaches to not only coach and recruit and do everything with your team, but hey, what relationships do you have with Fortune 500 companies that you can leverage to help your 100%? The Iowa State basketball coach is doing that right now. He's doing that right now. Now he's really good. And again, there's nobody I trust more in the space than that guy, but you have literally outsourced a lot of the success of your athletics program to your corporate sales team. That doesn't make sense. It will never make sense. And it's why, and quite candidly, Iowa State is at a huge disadvantage if that's the game, because we just do not have the Fortune 500 companies in the state that will actually spend the money. We do have some great companies in the state. I wish they would spend more, but I would say people in the upper Midwest are a little bit more practical about how they're spending their corporate dollars as a company than some of those schools in the SEC that are directly tied into a lot of those institutions. So, not weird times continuing.
That is wired in. Imagine if college sports was about Eric Crawford working with Killian Torrey in the offseason at helping him make a 3-point jump.
Nope.
If only that was
we have now moved
to the basis of it.
We have now moved to how good is your corporate sales team?
Well, Nick, I hope you are happy that you're associated with that segment. Seriously, check out.
Nick, just create a monster electrical program with all the Cyclone fans' help, and then you can be our Tyson Foods.
Newport Electrical Services, the next Tyson Foods. You heard it here first. MoveWhatMatters.com, certainly a good segue. You can help out the We Will Fund. And whatever other Iowa State clubs, organizations that mean something to you. MoveWhatMatters.com.
Forever True Day coming up next month.
Well, we stalled this long. The Cyclone women had an early exit.
Yes.
In Kansas City to Arizona State. It's long enough ago that we don't need to break down what happened in the game. I'm more concerned or focused on what happens with this team in March. Like I think they're safely in. It seems like they're safely in according to Charlie Crame of ESPN. But you can never be so certain when you go out and lose early in Kansas City to a team that you just beat by 30 a couple weeks prior.
Yeah, that was one of the more disappointing games I've seen. And I'm sure it was disappointing for the players and the staff way more than me. But to play so well, and this is what was disappointing, Jake, I thought Iowa State had played great against K-State. Previously on the road, big win. And I thought they'd carry over. They were saying all the right things prior to Arizona State team, the team that you beat. And then you just start and it's 18-2 and it's like, oh gosh, like what happened? And Iowa State battled, but it was up against it. Arizona State made a bunch of shots. Like, don't get me wrong, they played well. Yes, Iowa State is going to be in the NCAA tournament. I do think, you're flirting with that playing game situation again. Now the crazy part about all this, despite all of Iowa State, the noise and like up and down for this program, they have stayed between 32 and 35 on the net rankings for the last 6 weeks. It's been amazing.
Which is crazy.
Like they haven't moved. And that is not only in, that is safely in. And with the victories Iowa State's had, like the win over Iowa looks better by the day. Like give Iowa credit. They continue to play well.
They're down 30 right now to UCLA.
Are they?
But point stance. The gap between two and the rest of the teams in the sport is astronomical.
For sure. And then so it begs the question though, Jake. I mean, I could come up with an argument that it'd be better to be a 10 or 11 in the women's tournament than the 8 or 9. So I guess that's a positive out of all this. It's still, you want to be playing good basketball, and it just, I don't know if everyone's fully healthy, and defensively they just go through some major lapses and try and rely too much on offense. But now this team, what this team cannot do anymore is say, oh, well, there's another game coming. Like, nope, it's it now. Like, if there's any way to get completely focused, it's you win or you're done. And I think sometimes that's the light that needs to be on for some players who have played a lot of big games in their career to know that, okay, yeah, this is put up or shut up time. And I'm anxious to see how this group plays. And honestly, I'm anxious to see if they get out of that play-in game. A perfect scenario would be if you're a 10 or 11 not in the play-in game, but it's going to be interesting to watch.
Very similar to the men's conversation. Like, if you're thinking that they're going to try and save money in men's basketball, they will absolutely try and save money on the other side as well. So if you're a 10 seed, could get thrown in Iowa City,
100%,
and not that I would expect Iowa State to win that game at all, but in the same realm.
That's a great point.
In the same realm of the men, it's like you really don't want to play a rival, because in that scenario, the better team almost always has more pressure on them, because the lesser team has far less to lose. They can play loose. In that same boat, if I'm right now, a week before Selection Sunday, I would 100% sign up for the Cyclones being a 10 seed in Iowa City and taking my chances with your biggest rival.
Almost best possible outcome. Totally agree. And Iowa State was up 15 on them in the third quarter.
Yeah. And they've gotten a lot better, and Iowa State has regressed. So it's not the same story, but it's going to be an uphill battle to beat any 2 seed, no matter what.
Absolutely. No, I would. I didn't even think about that, Jake. Sign me up. Sign me up for that. Now, yeah, you're right, because those other 2 seeds. So here are the 2 seeds. This is really deep hypotheticals here, but you can kind of get the point. So your 1 seeds will almost assuredly be UConn, UCLA, South Carolina.
Nope.
Yeah. Texas, LSU. Still probably don't want that.
No, don't want it.
Yeah, athleticism.
Better than UConn.
Better than UConn. But then it gets really, dare I say, manageable, Jake. Michigan, Vanderbilt, Iowa, Minnesota, TCU, Duke. So I'm telling you, Iowa State plays any of those that next batch. It's single digits.
TCU?
TCU, yeah.
The team that the Cyclones were up double digits on in the second half.
Yeah. So yeah, the top 4 or 5 are no thanks. But you're right. Give me a regional game. Shoot, even if it's I didn't even realize Minnesota's 20 is the 9 seed in the net. I would not have guessed that. Like, send me up to the Twin Cities. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be something
fun.
else.
Yeah. So anyway, yes, this has been an very roller coaster of a season. But now it's go like you this is it. I mean, this is and there's no question between Williams, Crooks, Brown, when healthy. Again, we don't know if she's fully healthy. And then Jackson and Hare's actually played a lot better too, which is like
she's making shots.
There are a lot of pieces. Like, guys, just put it all together. Williams, like there are pieces here. It's why it's frustrating. If this team could just lock in defensively for a longer stretches of time, I think they can beat any of those teams I just mentioned. Not the top 3. Okay, I'm taking them off the table, but I still think this team could do some damage in March. I really do.
Before we get out of here, just
Yonger.
Shout out to Jacqueline Cordova on these pictures down at the Big 12 tournament. Yonger, Bastida, and Rocky Elam both win Big 12 championships. Yonger is on his way to have a national championship. I'm not saying he's going to win it no matter what, but he's on his way to have a very good shot at the heavyweight division. Rocky Elam almost certainly will be an All-American as well. He'll have a shot if a couple things go his way. Echemandia. There's a couple names where Steve O'Pollin, Iowa State will have a chance for a couple of All-Americans in the NCAA tournament. A pretty good weekend overall for them in in Tulsa. Might as well be Oklahoma City with the amount of Polk fans that were there as Oklahoma State regains the crown in the Big 12.
Yeah, kudos to Oklahoma State for winning that thing. I mean, that'll be fun to watch of those two programs going back and forth, but yeah, this is Yonger Bastida should be celebrated. God, it feels like he's been here for 8 years, doesn't it? But talk
Pretty
about
close.
a dynamic dude, and I'll be locked in to see how he does in those rest of those Cyclones. And I need to listen to Jacqueline and Visser and that squad of, is this Iowa State team? Where are we thinking in relation to the other national powers? Can Iowa State get a top 5 finish at nationals? Where does it all look? But certainly kudos to Elam, Bastida, those other Cyclones, and we must watch TV. Is that next week or the week following?
That'll be the week following.
Okay.
Yeah, the NCAA tournament is always the first weekend of basketball, which we don't want to go another 30 minutes because I could on how much I disagree with putting that right up against the first weekend of the NCAA basketball tournament.
Yeah, of all the problems the NCAA has, I
want to say it's out east. Is it in Pittsburgh?
I was just looking at where is the
Cleveland. Cleveland this year. Cleveland, Pittsburgh, both AFC North cities. Close.
Have you ever been to Cleveland?
Unfortunately, yeah. It was probably the worst weekend of my life.
I'm sorry for bringing it up.
I was covering the Iowa women in the Final Four. The year they went to the national championship the second time. Mm-hmm. I covered the Final Four game against UConn. All was normal. Woke up at 4 a.m. with food poisoning and watched the national championship in bed. Wasn't able to work. It was horrible.
What'd you eat?
I think it was a calzone.
Oh, man.
It wasn't the media meal because nobody else got sick, so it must have been whatever I had for lunch the day of the game.
Brutal.
Yeah, it was one of the worst 48 hours of my life. I went and got an IV. I was so
yeah.
I wasn't sure I was going to die, but I also wasn't positive I wasn't going to die. So not a great time in Cleveland. I don't plan on going back.
I'm sorry to bring that up. I do have Wyatt, we're how many minutes in? Real quick.
Did you win the lottery out there or something?
No. I used to do some donor visits. I always enjoyed my time in Cleveland, but I have had a poor experience while traveling with food poisoning. So I ate an egg roll once at a bowling alley in Los Angeles.
How all good stories start.
And just so happens, this was on a Thursday night. I was up against it, but I had to get up back on a flight because Iowa State was going to Waco for a football game in 2013. So I didn't eat for 3 days. Then Iowa State lost to Baylor 70-7. I've had better stretches of my life.
Ugh. Got it twice in my life. Once in a high school golf tournament at Briarwood.
Oh, man.
No phones back in the day, so I sat I told my group that I was withdrawing. And I sat next to a tree for probably 45 minutes before my coach went on his rounds. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
It's like, "Coach, I can't go."
Coach, that cheeseburger did not sit well. I've been throwing up for the last 45 minutes.
So Jake, you're not Michael Jordan. You can't play through the flu game.
I think I've done the flu one. I played tennis with the flu. I don't think I've done it with food poisoning.
So everybody, lessons being, while in Kansas City this week, stay away from calzones and do not get an egg roll from a bowling alley. We're going to be okay. We're all going to be okay.
Did we hit everything?
At that point, yes. Yes, we did.
We better have hit everything with an hour and 10 show. We got the best supporters, though. They'll hopefully eat it up. Of course, we're excited for C-Dub to be back whenever he comes back. I might be on the show Wednesday, Tuesday, whenever we do the show. It might be C-Dub. Either way, Williams is taking care of Ashley, and they're doing well up in Rochester.
Love you, buddy. Hang in there.
Love you, C-Dub. We will be back when we're back. Just stay tuned with Cyclone Fanatic on social media, and you'll find out when we're going with Williams and Blum. This has been Brent Blum and Jake Brend here in the Northwest Bank Studios.